Hello there, this is my 4.4.1 project for bike riding by Gavin Sayre, which is me, of course. Alright, so what this project is about. This project is about riding a bicycle and the process that is made of. Many people do enjoy riding their bicycles wherever it is, like at a street or in the forest. However, many people don't actually make this a habit. Like, they don't do it a lot. As shown here, where it says that 54% people said that their fear of getting hit by a car or a truck holds them back from doing more bike riding, as well as 29% say that they ride bikes. They've ride a bike at least once in the last year. And about 15%, or 45 million people, made at least one bicycle trip for transportation in the last year. So the numbers are not very high. Numbers are not very big, small percent, but still like a lot of people. First part of the process of bike riding. The first thing you want to do for bike riding is get your bicycle itself, whether it's in your garage or other place like that. There are many different parts to a bicycle, such as the seat, the tires, the handles, and the frame. That's just a few of them. As well as you got the pieces like the rear brakes or the saddle area. The saddles here is also called the seat, but some people call it either one. If you don't have one, if you do not have a bicycle, you can get one from a few different areas. You could get one from a store, places such as Walmart sell them, many different kinds too, and also accessories like helmets that, if you want to use that. You can borrow or get one from a family member if you're, that's not like too much of an like investment wise, that's if more preferred if you're just using it for like a one-time thing. You could also buy one from secondhand. Buying something secondhand, it basically just means you buy it from someone who already bought something, so you buy it from them. You're not buying from like an official store or anything. Usually it's not as like high quality usually it's a bit beat up usually. And once you get your bike, you need to make sure that it's in working order so you can ride it, which is very important because a broken bike, you can't ride it. Well, maybe you might be able to, but it's definitely a good idea to make sure it works. Parts of a bicycle are shown in the image in the previous slide, which was this one with this picture. Then we already went through this slide. So here is a video about how if you need to actually be able to like fill up your tires, which is a big part, this video here.
Pumping up the tyres on your bike is a pretty basic skill, but like most basic skills, you actually need someone to show you how the first time you do it. So if you don't know, don't worry, because this is how you pump up your bike tyres. Step one is to work out what type of valve you have on your wheels. So bikes are likely to have one of two: a Schrader valve, like that, which you'll find on your car, or a Presta valve, like that one, which you will find on most road bikes. Now, the type of valve that you have will have an effect on the type of pump that you use. So, a Schrader valve will need a wider opening, like that one there, and a Presta valve will need a narrower opening, like that one there. And you can actually get an adapter to screw onto your Presta valve that will allow you to use your car pump, for example, so for that valve there. But you can't, unfortunately, do it the other way around. Step two is to remove the dust caps on your valves if you have them. Now, don't worry, doing this isn't suddenly going to let a load of air out. You technically don't really need dust caps at all. Step three, and this is particularly important, on a Presta valve, you need to unscrew this lock ring here, before you can either inflate
This
or
is on some of
deflate
them.
your tyre.
My personal
Once
bike
it's
does not
unscrewed,
have this.
you press it in. Or if there's a lever to be flipped, then clearly there is going to be a lever. Now you'll find when you press it on that you're likely to let a little bit of air out. I wouldn't worry about it, it's perfectly normal. All you've got to do is spend a tiny bit more time actually pumping.
So this is one of the pump ones.
With a
There are
head
different
firmly
kinds of air
attached, we
pumps.
are now good
This is the one
to
that's
start
manual.
pumping.
Use
Which I suppose
yourself
leads
to
us
do
on
it.
to our next question, which is, when do you actually stop? What is the correct pressure? Well, it does depend on what type of tyre you have. So a wider tyre,
A good way for this is to just feel it, and if it feels like it's good enough, then that's it. It's not like a car, you don't have to like really see if it's 32 psi or anything. You just feel until it's full usually. Like it's not as advanced, you don't
pumping
have
up the
to.
tyres on your bike is a pretty basic skill.
Alright, so third party. Sorry about that. I don't want to duck my grade too much. But the third part of the process of bike riding is once everything is in working order, you then have to pick and go to a location to ride a bike. Many different locations you can go to. It's really just the place you want to go. But you can go to a trail park or just to a street, like whatever kind of street you want to go to. Many different locations. Almost endless, actually. Fourth part of the process of bike riding. Once you're at the location with your bicycle, you'll want to get onto your bicycle and push the pedals in a forwards motion to get the bike moving and steer the front of the bike with the handles. Once you've done this, you're riding your bike. So you get onto the bike on the top, put your feet on both sides of the bike on the pedals. You're going to push it in a forward motion like that usually. Depends on where the pedal's actually located, like how far they've been turned. That's most of the time that's what you do if you're in the same position as the flat one. And then you have your hands on the handles, different kinds of handles. And then you have to make sure to steer it, which is very, very basic steering. You just push it, you just hold it wherever you want it to go. It just takes practice. Fifth part of the process of bike riding. While you're riding your bicycle and having fun usually. If you're not having fun, then there's no real point to it. Make sure to watch out for people or objects. This is a big thing about bike riding. Many people and objects will be around you. It is a good idea to watch out for them. And if a person or object is your way, if it's a person, many different ways, depends on like what the situation is. If they're just walking, you can usually just ride to either a different direction, what direction they're walking towards, or go to like the side of them and go that way if you're going in a different direction. If you cannot do this and like it's too small of an area, it's best to just wait for them or go a different way. If it's an object like a rock or a sign, usually it's a good idea to go out of the way. If it's a speed bump or something like that, it's usually just go slow. Many different obstacles and stuff you might find when you're bike riding. It's just, you gotta figure out what's the best thing to do. Other things to watch out for, once again, many different things. A couple other things are cars. If you're on a street, any cars, parked or driving, watch out for those. Trees or roots, this can be in towns and stuff too, but this is very prevalent in more forest areas, like more nature areas, like a trail or something like that. There can be roots and trees that can make you trip and fall on the bike. Rocks or steep hills, this can be bad. Steep hills are hard to go up, but if you're going down them, you can possibly crash and maybe hit your head on a rock or something else like that. It's not good. Sharp objects like broken glass, this can technically be anywhere. This is usually more prevalent in like city areas, but this is bad when you're riding a bike. You don't want to drive over this because there's a chance of popping your tires, and that's not good. Your tires get popped, that's not good. Here, this slide is. I know the quality's not the best, but I'm trying. Sixth part of the process of bike riding. After a while of riding, you're most likely get tired or done with riding your bike. This usually happens, you're probably not riding your bike for like a couple days straight. You're usually going to get tired or have to do something else. When this happens, it would be wise to store the bicycle somewhere that you know and that's safe for it, and that you'll remember, because you can't put it in a place you forget and then you may have lost your bike. An example will be shown in the next page. The link here just goes to the next page. It just detail. Places to store your bike. Many places. Some of them aren't listed on here because they're just almost an endless amount of places. A garage is usually the most common one. Very convenient. A lot of people have it if you own a house. And just a convenient place. It works. Your room, if you own an apartment like I do, a room works too. Any kind of room, someone else's room. It's going to work for storing a bike. They will mess with your space though, so watch out for that. Because it can mess with like your space, because bikes usually take a lot of space and you can't like stack stuff onto them. Closet, this can work, but it's a lot harder to use. Most people don't use a closet to store their bike. Some people do. Not very many people though. Outside can work, but it's more risky than any of the other options here. Because if you just have it sitting outside, someone can come on in. Even if you have it locked, people can take parts off of it. Other stuff like that. Plus, you gotta watch out for weather. The water can make it rust. The wind can knock it down and damage parts. Would not recommend outside. In a basement can work because usually there's spaces, lots of room. You can just set them wherever. Basement's probably would be the best spot if you can't put it in the garage. Resource number 1, this is about history of the bike. I won't go over all of it for time because we're already 12 minutes in. But it started off with Karl von Drais. He made the first prototype of the bike in 1817. It did not have any chains or anything like that. It was just base bike, had wheels, and that was about it. Of course, a place to sit, so. It was a new invention at the time in 1817. Resource number 2. This is more of a safety one to show that safety is important when you are obviously riding a bike. Because in 2018, it states that 857 people died from just cycling, from traffic, accidents, stuff like that. And then in 2019, it was 29. The resource here. As you can state, 857 people were killed in traffic crashes in the United States in 2018. So a lot of people. Definitely not a good number. Well, high number, but not good number. You don't want many people that dead high. This is resource number 2. So this is just about safety. So you got the graph here, which just shows how drastic this is. And then you have a chart here to make it more number focused in case, just more specific. This is the end. Sorry if it was kind of long, but it's a long slide, long presentation. But final thoughts. There are many parts of the process of bike riding, which has been stated in the slides before, but it just felt good to say this here too. But I personally enjoy riding a bike. I have this one behind here, and but I have been personally riding it less and less because I have more driving. I drive more now instead of bike riding, so I just practice that more. But it's still fun. Family and friends, or whoever you ride it with. Trying to get it good. There we go. But yeah, it's nice for your free time with family and friends who are alone. It's very nice. Oh, sorry for the shaky there. Sorry this was long. I tried to make it quick as I could. It just, yeah, just with all of the external sites and stuff. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.